Hi, Toby. Hope you're feeling okay. All right, so if we look at this one, chain rule, how do I start?
You split it into two functions with the f of x for the purpose of the chain rule being x to the fifth and g of x being 3x squared minus 1.
Yeah, so we're going to think about the outside first, and the outside is that we have something to the fifth power. So if you have something to the fifth power, what do you do with the 5? You move it to the front, and then what happens to the 5? It becomes a 4. So we're going to say f prime of x, I'm going to move the 5 to the front, and then I'm going to drop the exponent by 1. And when I do that, I keep the inside the same. I don't mess with the inside. Then the chain rule, I'm making a chain here. Now I multiply by the derivative of the inside. Okay? And then if I can clean up the problem, I do. So is there any cleaning up to be done? You can't distribute the 5. Do you know why? So we can't distribute the 5 because exponents come first because PEMDAS. So if you wanted to distribute the 5, you would have to take this and write it 4 times and FOIL it and then distribute the 5, but there's no reason to do that. So we are not going to distribute the 5 because it's not beneficial.
Wouldn't that kill some? Which baby animal would that kill?
I don't have that as a baby animal, so that would be a unicorn. So 30x, 3x squared minus 1 to the 4th is your answer. Okay. How should I rewrite number 2 before I do the problem?
With the fractional exponent.
With the fractional exponent. So I'm going to say f of r is actually 5r squared minus 2r plus 1 to the 1/3. Why is it a positive and not a negative 1/3? Yeah, if this was a fraction, it would be over 1, and that's considered the top of the fraction, which is why we have a positive exponent. Okay, so if we do this one, we're going to cover up the inside. What do we do with the 1/3? Bring it to the front. Keep it the same, negative 2/3, okay? And then we have 5r squared minus 2r plus 1, and this is being multiplied by the derivative of the inside, which is what? Okay, so now there is a bit of cleaning up for this one, and we are going to do all the things with it. We're going to make sure that our exponents are positive. We had a radical in the beginning of the problem, so we're going to have a radical in our answer. We're going to have a fraction, yes.
Move the thing with the 2/3 to the bottom and then multiply the 10 by the numerator to just make that the numerator and then have it over 3.
So I'm going to write this as a fraction. He said to put the 10r minus 2 on the top. We're going to put the 3 on the bottom from the 1/3. And then this stuff on the bottom is to the 2/3 power. What does the 2/3 power mean? Cube root. So I'm going to say cube root on the bottom. And then I have all the stuff inside, 5r squared minus 2r plus 1. And right now my exponent on the bottom is technically to the 1/3, not the 2/3. So what do I do to make the 2 happen? I do squared. Now you can put squared on the inside like I did. I did parentheses on the inside and I put squared. Or you could have put parentheses around the cube root and put the squared outside. It doesn't matter. Inside or outside doesn't matter. Okay, so that would be the proper way to rewrite it. We don't need to rationalize it. We'll just call it good right there. In a question like this, where they told you find the derivative, then you know the answer is the derivative, it would only matter if you were doing a problem where you had to like find a function and find its derivative and you needed to differentiate between two answers. Yeah. All right, how should I rewrite number 3 so that I can do the problem? Yes. So 7x squared minus 1 to the negative second. So that way I do not have to do a quotient rule. Okay, so what do I do now? Math. Bring the negative 2 to the front, okay? And then to the negative 3, because we're minusing 1,
You get the 7x squared minus 1
times,
times 14x.
okay? So y prime beautiful.
Indeed. It's undoubtable. That is true. The reason they call me math.
Okay. Are we okay with the coefficient of 2 on number 4, or would we like to address that? Address it? Okay.
Can we just in that, and then can we also address having like other, like where on 6 is the 4x?
Yeah. Okay, so we've got this. What else do I need to do to fix it?
3x squared minus 5 to the 1.
Okay. So now to do the chain rule, I take the exponent and I do what with the front? Multiply. So 2 times 1/2 is 1. And then if you take 1/2 and you subtract 1 from it, okay, so we got 3x squared minus 5 times, okay, I'm going to let you guys finish that one.
Why don't you have the numerator and the 2?
Because we did 2 times 1/2. Okay, now 6 is just going to be like you're taking, so cover up everything, just take the derivative of 4x first. 4. And then write a minus sign. And then you're going to have to like have rewritten the second part, right? We're going to call that 3 times 2x plus 1 to what exponent? Negative 1/2. Okay, so you have 4 minus, and then you're going to go ahead and do the chain rule with this part. Yep, you could say all the chain rule stuff is going to fit in there if you write small enough. Okay, before I let you guys work, so then just do the derivative of that. I don't know where your 5 came from, but I'm gonna let you figure that out. Yeah. Okay. Now number 7 is trying to trick you, kind of. It doesn't have a coefficient; it has an x. So what do you have to do with that? Product rule. First times the derivative of the second, and when you do the derivative of the second, you're doing a chain rule. Plus the second times the derivative of the first. When you do that, you're not doing a chain rule. Okay. What about number 9? Product rule again. First times the derivative of the second, which is going to involve a chain rule, plus the second times the derivative of the first, which does not involve a chain rule. 10 is quotient rule. So low D high, which does not involve a chain rule, minus high D low, which does. You could rewrite it and do product rule instead. How would you rewrite this to make it a product rule instead? So you could do chain rule or quotient rule and kind of leave it like this. And you could, you could take the bottom and write it as positive 1/2. Or you could do product rule and write it like that. Okay. Does number 8 use a product rule or quotient rule? No, number 8's just chain rule. Okay. What's the derivative of E? 0, because E is a number, it's 2.71. Euler's number. It's Euler's number. It's like taking the derivative of pi.
Just goes
Why is it an E?
Because I was checking to see if you knew it wasn't a variable. But then people would get it confused with zero.
Is spelled U.
EU.
U-L-E-R.
Oh, I thought it was close.
No, it's
I
not.
used to think it was pronounced U.
This. No. Oilers. Oilers. Oilers.
Let's Google it.
Oilers.
Google it.
That's why it's the same for.
Oilers.
It should be a capital E.
That's
Yeah,
probably,
rulers. It wasn't
Right
the
is
same
probably
for
right,
Oilers,
but-
it was the same for
That just means they were all unintelligent. All right, so go ahead and work on the sheet. The answer key's on the board. We'll get you some music.